Hey, it's Noah from American Trucks, and what I have here in front of me is a Degen 38 cold air intake for the 15 to 25 liter F-150. Now this intake is a perfect choice for an F-150 owner who's looking to dip their toes into some performance modifications without breaking the bank. The whole idea of an aftermarket cold air intake is to get rid of that factory restriction. Now this Degen cold air intake really opens up the pathway for the air, resulting in a happier, healthy, and a more powerful motor. There's also an air box included that will help keep the intake temps down, as well as block the filter from any mud or large debris that could find its way into your engine bay. The filter comes pre-oiled right out of the box, so you are protected from smaller particulates floating around the engine bay. Now this filter is also reusable, so when this guy gets dirty, you can just clean it and re-oil it rather than buying a new filter. The intake tube itself is actually aluminum, not plastic. Aluminum is a great choice because you get a very strong build compared to plastic, but still excellent heat dissipation that you wouldn't see with steel. Now this tube is also mandrel bent, so that means the air has a smooth and very direct pathway to your motor with no ribs or joints. Then to top it all off, everything on the intake is covered in a durable, textured black finish that ensures you aren't going to lose your like-new look. The Degen 38 cold air intake comes in around $220, which is insanely cheap, guys. That price is incredible, especially with the metal construction and the fact that it even comes with all the clamps and hardware that you need. I mean, this is an excellent deal for a mod that makes a big difference. Really, what it all boils down to in the end is the install. So all the parts you need to get this installed on your F-150 and drive away are included in the kit. This intake is a simple bolt-on job. It doesn't require any fabrication or tuning, putting this install at a 1 out of 3 wrenches of difficulty. This really should be an easy job for anybody, and I would count on spending around 30 minutes on it. And we do recommend pairing this intake with a custom tune to maximize performance gains that the intake has to offer. A tune isn't a necessity, but we do have them in stock on our site as well. Really, there's not much more I can cover with the install aspect in here, so let's head to the shop and take a look at putting this intake on our F-150.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters, an extension, a 7mm socket, the included Allen wrench, and an 8mm wrench. What's up, guys? Today we're installing an intake on our F-150. First, we're going to watch a quick video on how to uninstall the stock intake, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So for the first step of our install here, obviously we have to get our factory stuff out of the way. We're going to be removing the clamp around the throttle body with this 7mm socket and extension. There's 2 hoses that also have to be removed, and then we'll unclip the top half of the air box and pull the whole top half out. Release the hose. And lastly, this one here just pulls straight up. I'm just gonna get it started around this part of the intake tube right there. Then for the air box, these 2 tabs right here hold on the top half. And with those 2 released, you can pull forward on the top half of the air box and then snake this back half here underneath that hose and pull the whole top half out. And lastly, all we have to do is remove this factory paper filter.
So our first step is to assemble our air box. So now we can take our flat piece. This flap is going to go on the inside of our frame here, and our bottom is going to go underneath this little tab. And then we're going to put one of our Allen bolts with a flat washer through the front, and then get one of our nuts on the back side. And then we'll do that same thing on our bottom hole. And then we can flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. And then we can tighten that down with an 8mm wrench on our nut side and the included Allen wrench on our bolt side. So now we can install our new airbox onto our lower airbox from the factory. We have 4 tabs that are going to slide into these 4 holes, and then we'll secure our 2 clips. And now we can secure our 2 clips. Next, we can assemble our filter. So I've got our band clamp around the filter. We're going to slide this piece into the end of the filter until it sits flush, and then we can put it into our intake box. And we can just let that hang out for now until we get our intake tube into place and we can clamp it onto our filter. So now we can assemble our intake tube and get it installed onto the truck. So I've got our coupler with 2 clamps. I've got both of those set up, and we'll just slide these onto the edge of our intake tube. And then we can get this tube into place. So now we can slide our intake tube into place. So we'll go underneath of this coolant line, and slide our coupler over our throttle body. And then on the other side, we'll push the edge of our filter through and slide our coupler onto that. So now once you have everything loosely fitted, you can take a 7mm socket to tighten down your clamps. And now we can do that same thing to our throttle body clamps. And now we can reconnect our 2 lines by just pushing them into place. Now lastly, we can install our weather stripping across the top of our intake box. So we have a piece that we'll just press into place. Now once you get to the other edge, you might have a little bit of excess, so you can use a pair of diagonal cutters or scissors to chop that off. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Degen 38 cold air intake for your 2015 to 2020 5.0 liter F-150. Thank you for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.